Hello and welcome to Football Daily, where today we're taking stock of the summer's missed opportunities with 10 players that should have been upgraded in the transfer window. Let's go. 10. KASPER SCHMEICHEL. It shouldn't be hard to improve on a 35-year-old KASPER SCHMEICHEL. The Dane allowed 59 league goals last year, just 6 teams leagued more, and underperformed against XG for the third season in 5, meaning that since 2017, he's cost his team 7.5 extra goals, as well as seeing diminished returns in crossing collection. But the Foxes have rejected the chance to upgrade the spot, instead relying on understudy Danny Ward to step up, in a team rocked by a bad start to the campaign and a gutless transfer window. Ward might be good, he's faced a career total of 31 shots in the Premier League and saved 18 of them, so anybody who's unsure about his quality is deluding themselves. But there were safer options available to the Foxes this summer, even within their meagre budget. Brentford added Lazio Strakosha on a free, a man with 48 Serie A clean sheets to his name, while Fulham swiped Arsenal's Bernd Leno, who saved the Gunners nearly 13 goals versus XG in 4 seasons. And Ward could endure a busy campaign, with Leicester facing the 4th most shots on target in 2021-22 and their best defender on his way to Chelsea. With Rodgers' job in jeopardy, it's a gamble Brendan really didn't need to take. 9. NEAL MAUPAY. We've long defended Brighton's NEAL MAUPAY, and Graham Potter's ability to get enough out of him, Trossard and Welbeck to finish 9th continues to impress. But with teams around them spending big, and a 7-goal underperformance of the XG, seeing them net just 42 last year, bettering just 4 clubs in the league, the Seagulls could have used a striker investment this summer, and Maupay's spot was the easiest to improve. Last season, the Frenchman was joint top scorer with Trossard on 8 goals, but actually produced less XG than Welbeck across the campaign, despite playing 800 minutes more, while Brighton as a whole created about 0.3 XG more in games Maupay didn't play in than ones he did. He was also less effective at winning the ball and got dispossessed more than the former Arsenal man, and as a consequence, Brighton took 1.4 points per match with Welbs leading the line compared to 1.25 when Maupay started. Perhaps a small difference on paper, but a 6-point gap across a full season, the space between 8th and 12th. Given Potter's success on a shoestring and the huge Cucurella windfall, a gamble on a forward was both manageable and deserved. Instead, we may have to wait for Potter's next job to see what he can really do. 8. EDOUARD MENDY. Despite Chelsea's troubles in the early exchanges of the season, it's not easy to find serious personnel issues. A pure striker is much needed, and the ageing midfield will need refreshing, but finding a starter not good enough for the XI is a tougher task, hence the slightly harsh inclusion here of keeper EDOUARD MENDY. Of course, the Senegalese stopper is no disaster. In fact, he's pretty good, with the 4th highest save percentage and a number of clean sheets in the Prem last season, helping the Blues to an underrated record of 33 conceded and 38. But Tuchel's commitment to slow build-up from the back highlights the stopper's weaknesses. Last year, despite attempting fewer passes than 19 other Premier League keepers, Mendy misplaced short balls more often than all but 3 players in his position, and he wasn't especially quick at releasing it either, taking more touches per pass than Ramsdale, Edison or Alisson. Perhaps one reason that only 3 teams progressed up the field more slowly than the Blues in 2021-22. With mid-table sides like Brighton and Brentford arguably boasting better keepers, it feels like this was an easy area for Tuchel to improve on things. And with 4 games gone, 6 conceded and an error leading to a goal already under Mendy's belt this term, he could live to regret his inaction. 7. Eric Dier. He may be loved by Antonio Conte, but Eric Dier, while decent, is certainly upgradable for Tottenham. After all, the Lily Whites are in win now mode, with their first team additions boasting an average age of 28 this summer, as the team seeks out to extract the maximum value from Son and Kane's final years of peak performance. With that in mind, waiting to fix a problem position seems counterproductive. After all, Dier makes fewer progressive passes than Romero, Davies and even Davinson Sanchez, and unlike the South Americans, he doesn't give much in the way of ball winning, with the lowest pressing numbers in the squad last year, and only Kane and Son making fewer tackles and interceptions. Even his huge stature doesn't see impressive returns, with Højbjerg winning a high percentage of headers, and it's only his long balls which seem truly useful with over 10 a match, though Longley has a better success rate, removing the last reason to keep the Englishman in the lineup. 28 and with 2 years on his deal, Dier is going nowhere, but the rumoured interest in Skriniar and Milenkovic shows what could have been. We'll see if some Conte magic can dispel our fears. 6. Nathan Ake. This isn't so much about Ake as City's long-standing need on the left side of defence, as they're entering this campaign arguably weaker than last in that area. Alexander Zinchenko has gone to Arsenal, and replacing him is 21-year-old Anderlecht left-back Sergio Gomez. But given that Marc Cucurella almost made the switch to the Etihad, it's not hard to feel that the citizens have missed their swing. Their defence remains imperious, just 27 XG conceded and 26 actual goals leaked last campaign, but undeniably it can fall apart at times, as in their recent 3-3 draw of Newcastle or in the Champions League semi-final against Real Madrid when the absence of a fully fit Kyle Walker left them exposed, giving up over 4 XG across the two legs. Cucurella's pace could have performed a similar function, the Spaniard mopping up behind Pep's famously high back line, but instead it'll be another year of mix and matching, a plan which feels dangerous as they once again seek to break their Champions League duck. With Chelsea offering a reported £40 million for Ake back in July, City could have backed themselves to turn that into a star, even at the insane price Brighton quoted them. 5. Diogo Dalot. Manchester United's squad problems are so deep that behind every issue lies another one. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's shortcomings, placing in the bottom half of fullbacks for chances created, the bottom quarter for progressive passing, and the worst 12% for getting dispossessed, made the bench his only possible option. But replacement Diogo Dalot is hardly world class either, his apparently superior attacking talent only yielding 2 assists in 47 United appearances since 2018. For a player given much more licence to get forward, it's strange that Dalot barely creates more chances than AWB, with 0.8 per 90 to 0.7. What's more, he dribbles under half as much as Wan-Bissaka's 1.8 take-ons a game, and even gets fewer touches in the final third than the Englishman, with his only major positive oddly being defensive, succeeding in 61% of his tackles, much better than Wan-Bissaka now, but only the same as his rival managed at Palace and in his first campaign with the Red Devils. If United truly want a modern two-way flanker, their rumoured interest in Serginho Dest would have made a lot more sense, even if it would have brought the average height of their backline to under 5'9". Like every other position, this will surely make Ten Hag's to-do list in 2023. 4. Daniele Rugani. After years of not being good enough for Juventus, Daniele Rugani is somehow closer to the first team than ever in 2022-23, with the Bianconeri ditching Chiellini and De Ligt during the off-season, but only signing Bremer to replace them, meaning their Scudetto hopes currently rest on a 28-year-old who's been for sale for half a decade. The last time Rugani got 1,000 minutes for the old lady was 4 years ago, and he certainly hasn't improved in the intervening time. Though he completed 90% of his passes, Rugani ranks in the bottom quarter of centre-backs for balls into the final third or ones which break the line, and defensively he seems to sit out the tough stuff, with only 7% of defenders making fewer tackles and interceptions, and a poor record in pressing and contesting headers. So Allegri would be forgiven for not trusting him, but that leaves him with just Bonucci, now 35 and only available for 24 matches last year, and Federico Gatti, a January gamble from Frosinone who's yet to play a top-flight minute. In a tougher league than ever, Juve have no significant edge in attack or defence. Our conclusion, they're in danger of consecutive trophyless seasons for the first time since 2011. 3. EDIN TERZIC. We're cheating with a manager here, but we cannot believe that Borussia Dortmund have decided to entrust one of their most exciting squads in memory to former interim boss EDIN TERZIC, who took charge of them back in 2021 after the sacking of Lucien Favre. After all, with over €90 million spent, this is the 4th biggest summer in their history, and the signings themselves make a statement. Niklas Süle joining from Bayern Munich in his prime, while Schlotterbeck chose them over the Bavarians, and Karim Adeyemi turned down Liverpool to wear the yellow shirt. So what's wrong with TERZIC? Nothing exactly, but he's hardly an inspiring choice. Though his brief tenure did take Dortmund to the German Cup, it was results rather than performances which rebounded under the ex-striker, with Dortmund's expected goals difference actually dropping from over 0.9 per game to 0.8. In fact, under Favre, BVB had led the league in dominating territory, ranking first for both deep completions, passes within 20 metres of goal, and deep completions allowed, while TERZIC oversaw declines in both metrics. After Bayern lost Lewandowski, there might have been an opportunity to sneak a title this campaign, making it the year to bet on a special coach. TERZIC may be just that, but it's yet to be seen, and another Munich coronation seems almost inevitable. 2. Nathaniel CLYNE. The addition of Cheick Doucouré to midfield this summer was another intelligent step in what has been one of the best and fastest rebuilds in Europe, as Patrick Vieira has remade Crystal Palace from an old and negative team into a scintillating hotbed of growing talent. That leaves just one major issue at right back, with Joel Ward and Nathaniel CLYNE splitting the role last season, and with a combined age of 63, new blood wouldn't go amiss. Chris Richards could feature there, but the American is primarily a centre-back, and it's a tall order for the 22-year-old to take the job as he adapts to a new league. But CLYNE and Ward are stifling the right flank. The pair both create under a chance every 2 games, and while Ward is the superior passer and runner, with CLYNE in the bottom 1% of fullbacks in both categories, neither presses much, dribbles much, or wins the ball, with TERZIC Mitchell on the other wing regaining possession 5.4 times a game to the right back's 3.7. An athletic and creative presence would free up Elise to cut inside, and balance Mitchell's natural caution, allowing Palace to push higher up and dominate territory. It's the obvious next step in the club's evolution. 1. James Milner. Going into this season, we felt Liverpool needed midfield depth, and Klopp clearly agreed, attempting to bring in Aurelien Tchouameni before he joined Madrid. But now the nightmare scenario has become reality, with Thiago sidelined and Keita and the Ox croc too. And the drop to the third choice lineup was evident in the Reds' 2-1 defeat to Manchester United, an unneeded setback after successive draws. Henderson will need replacing too, but he still has a role, trailing only Thiago and Trent in passes into the final third last year. Milner's legs meanwhile are finally gone. The 36-year-old averaged 950 minutes a season over the last 3, and while he's still mentally sharp, he's lost his agility, pressing less often and less effectively than ever before, and overall completing just 30% of his challenges. And on the ball too, he's no longer quick enough for Klopp's lightning style, having managed just 9 dribbles in over 2 years, and already getting dispossessed 7 times in under 2 full games so far this campaign. His influence in the dressing room may be impossible to replace, but if he hoovers up over another 1,000 minutes this season, it'll be a sign of poor squad planning from a team which previously made an art of it. This indecision may have already cost them the title. So that was our take on 10 players that should have been upgraded. What do you make of our choice? Let us know in the comments down below. As always, subscribe to the channel with notifications switched on, and like the video if you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.